What is up, guys? It is Ross, and welcome back to another Mario Kart Wii Limitless developer commentary. I was a bit late on recording this part, so this might be a bit of a spoiler I didn't get to reveal, but yes, we are in fact talking about the shooting star in this episode. So yeah, you might notice this thing is incredibly slow. It only goes 78 km/h. Not too good in an environment where most of the vehicles go incredibly fast. However, I'm going to charge up one of these bad boys. Look at this. Look at the mini turbo on this thing. The mini turbo, it's got low speed, but its mini turbo is off the charts. So yeah, if you want to put this thing to use, you want to maximize those mini turbos because they will be your salvation. So yeah, the shooting star, it's an outside drifting bike, which means that charging these mini turbos should be easy, and if your mini turbo runs out and you want a bit more, such as this, you can get them out a bit more effectively than you could on outside drift. High mini turbo, obviously, slow as molasses, to be expected. It's a heavyweight, so its weight is definitely on the higher end. Its acceleration isn't very good. Its handling is okay, but it could be better. And its off-road is average. Like, it can't do anything fancy, but if you ever get stuck on the off-road, you know, it's not the end of the world. And obviously, it drifts really, really good. You can tell that you can sort of see here that I'm, like, hugging the inside of every turn pretty well. If you're familiar with Rebalance, Shooting Star in that mod, likewise, had really strong mini turbos in exchange for a lot of speed. I think it was the slowest vehicle in the game in that mod. And the Shooting Star in Limitless, it sings a similar tune, with the main difference being that it is outside drift in Limitless. The Shooting Star's rebalance playstyle is still, like, present. Quacker, specifically, has inside drift, so if you prefer inside drift, but you still want a vehicle with high mini turbo, then you might want to pick Quacker instead of this thing. But outside drift actually synergizes really well with long mini turbo, so if that's your cup of tea, then this could be the vehicle for you. Wow, GBA Boo Lake, the CPUs do not give you much of a fight on this thing, huh? But yeah, Shooting Star is a very polarizing vehicle in terms of stats. We will hopefully be able to see that come into play for the tracks that we're going to play, but I'm not particularly hopeful. The randomizer, the in-game track randomizer, doesn't exactly like to play nice from my experience. This does mean I get to showcase Shooting Star's struggles on instances where mini turbos just don't matter though. Like, these ramps are ramps that Shooting Star would just lose a lot of time on to regular bikes, because its low base speed becomes a hindrance. Like, Shooting Star only really does well in instances where it can apply its mini turbo boosts in scenarios where other vehicles won't be in speed boost. So if everything's in a speed boost, Shooting Star is gonna find itself falling behind, because mini turbo speeds are... Any type of boost speed is multiplied by the vehicle's base speed, so obviously if every vehicle is in a mini turbo, Shooting Star would be the vehicle that would go the slowest in terms of top speed. Also, this track is dumb, bro. Look at these fucking CPUs, they're just getting lapped. And you can do tail dive strats like that as well, and Shooting Star benefits from those a lot. Maybe not on that turn specifically, just because your speed boost lasts for the majority of that straightaway, and obviously you've got a turn immediately afterwards. But in a lot of scenarios, Shooting Star can do that, and it's worth it. It's a nice little time save for those who can pull it off. Just gonna do the double MT here, because why wouldn't you? It's got mini turbo for days. And yeah, another win for the Shooting Star. Ooh, the Grand Archives. This will be another exemplary track to put this thing's mini turbo prowess to the test. Oh, okay. Not if I get wheelie bumps, though. Wheelie bumps are something that I have to look out for. Not so much when I have a mini turbo charged, but when I don't, I'm in a world of pain. The reliance on the mini turbo stat means that Shooting Star actually doesn't do as well in pack interactions as you would expect. It can throw its weight in direct confrontations because the mini turbo gives it a lot of bump resistance to fall back on, but in terms of items, you need to be very careful, because if you have to cancel your drift to dodge an item before your mini turbo is charged, you have to start charging it all over again, and that's like a second or two where you're vulnerable to Shooting Star's extremely low base speed, and that vulnerability could do you in. So bear that in mind. Oh, there's the blue shell. Yeah, so as you saw there, this thing's acceleration is not the best. Though, like Mach Bike, you can use like a well-timed wheelie and then start drifting, and it'll be fine. You want to do that with Shooting Star especially, because obviously when you drift, that means you're charging a mini turbo, and this thing likes mini turbos. No. Aww. And obviously this thing doesn't take too kindly to POWs either, because that means it has to start charging its mini turbo from scratch again, which isn't very good. Shooting Star also has like low traction to the extent that it clips through the ground in vanilla, and that affects its ability to accelerate. It's pretty difficult to notice in Limitless because this thing's wheelie acceleration is atrocious in order to what's it called? In order to like encourage people to charge its mini turbos. I don't know why it took me so long to find a way to say that. But yeah, it's mostly, the bouncing is mostly aesthetic in Limitless. Hopefully, I think it affects acceleration a bit when you're shocked and you're trying to wheelie, but it isn't nearly obtrusive as it is in the vanilla game, which is a quality of life change that we felt was important to make. Wii Grumble Volcano is a track that you can do this on, and you're off to the races. Actually, I'm going to sandbag here because there is something I want to show. Yeah, this thing's mini turbo makes it hard to stop at times. So if I have mushrooms, and I do the whole kill yourself to advance strategy, whee! Wait, I'm in 12th? How did that happen? Yeah, so vanilla tracks have some changes. The respawn shortcut is a little bit different. You have to sort of dive off around here. It's a bit hard to tell, but there is a visualizer on the lava, like there's a bit of a crease visible. And it's not the only track we have changes like this on, but there are some changes that we have made to the vanilla tracks. Mostly item box positions, but we have added some like new shortcuts, like N64 DK Jungle Parkway is a big one. We used to have one in Rainbow Road as well, but it got removed because it was a little too silly. It shifted Rainbow Road's identity a bit too much. And the less we talk about GC and Mario Circuit, you know, the better. That track just was not long for this world. And yeah, that about wraps up my GP with the Shooting Star. A very, very interesting vehicle. It's got low top speed, high mini turbo, lives and dies off the mini turbos, which is a very unique concept for a bike to have. And it was a vehicle that it was a vehicle type that a lot of people liked and rebalanced. So yeah, that's the end of the GP, and that about wraps it up for this episode. Stay tuned for my next parts on the other vehicles when they come out, and be sure to check out the previous parts if you haven't already. And until then, this is Ross, signing off. Goodbye.